Hey guys, how's it going? So today we're going to do a quick tutorial video of what settings you're going to be needing to use if you want to start off playing PUBG Mobile. Whether you are a new player or you've been someone who's been playing the game over, let's say, the past 6 months to a year's time. Now there's a lot of settings I've noticed that I've got people I play with, they've not been using them. These are very useful settings. Now you might be using these settings, you might not be using these settings. If you're already using these settings, great. I'm going to be having more videos coming up soon where I'm going to be talking about recoil settings, controls, etc. Anyways, so today we're just quickly going to look at a few settings that you guys would want to use if you want to improve your gameplay. I'm going to get into the settings. So these settings obviously is not going to turn you into a pro in a day or two, but it will definitely help get your kill counts up and improve your gameplay much better than what it currently is. So I'm quickly going to go through the important settings that you need to have enabled or activated, and I'll explain why. Alright, so the first setting we're going to look at, which is very important, is aim assist. Now what does aim assist do? Make sure it's always enabled. Aim assist basically locks onto your target. So it makes sure that your bullets don't fly all over the place. Make sure your aim is locked onto your target so you can control your recoil in a much better way. Okay, so we're going to use the gesture as a pointer since there's not an actual way for me to be tapping on the screen. I don't have a mouse connected anyways. So the second option that you'd want to have enabled is your peek and fire. What does peek and fire do? Well, if you go to your controls, you go to customize, these two settings here are your peek and fire settings. Now you might be thinking how this is useful. Well, with peek and fire, you can actually hide behind an obstacle. You can hide behind a tree, hide behind a window, and start peeking and shooting your enemies without them seeing you. The only part of you that's going to be visible is your head and your weapon. So there's no chance for them to give you any body shots. And it's a great way to stay hidden while shooting your enemies. Now we're going to go back to these settings. Canted sight, very important. Now this is a new update, a new setting they've added to the update. It's a new scope. So for instance, you're having a 4x scope, 6x scope on your main weapon, and there's an enemy right in front of you. You can immediately switch to your canted sight, which is like a red dot or a holographic sight, and take your enemy out. Left side fire button, a lot of people choose to have this on. I'm not really using it, so I've turned this off. Alright, so the next setting we're going to look at is the gyroscope. I've chosen to keep it as closed. You might want to turn it always on, scope on, depending on yourself. Again, so this is something really important I've noticed a lot of people are doing wrong. Don't just copy other people's settings. Use the settings you're most comfortable with. If you're comfortable with having your gyroscope with your scope on, go for it. If you're comfortable with having it as always on, go for it. I've chosen it to be closed because I don't really use it because I play PUBG Mobile while I'm lying down, so I really don't have proper control over it. So it's recommended to have it on. How does it help? Well, if you use it properly, you can control your recoil really well. Going down now. Again, another setting, jump and climb. It's really important as separate. I've seen a lot of people keep it as combined. Especially, professionals, they keep it as combined. Universal mark enabled, especially if you're playing with a duo or a squad. It's really helpful. Now let's scroll down. Do we have any other useful setting? Nothing here. All right, so let's go to graphics. Very important for you to copy the settings I have here. You may copy them. If you choose not to, that's completely up to you, but it's very important. So first things first, your graphics. Make sure it's as smooth. Why? It increases your FPS, especially if you're playing on a low-end device. How does having higher FPS help you? Well, you can get better recoil control and your aim can be much smoother, so you can easily aim on your targets and take them out. As for your frame rate, I'd recommend using the best setting, high, ultra, extreme, whichever is available on your device. If you're using a high-end device like I am, you're going to have the extreme option available or the ultra option. Even if you're using high, it's okay, but make sure you're not on low or medium because, again, frame rate, having it at maximum is the most important. Your style, classic, colorful, realistic. I chose colorful. Why should you choose colorful as well? Well, it helps you see enemies that are hiding, let's say they're hiding in the grass, or as you call them, as snakes. So it helps you see enemies in a much better way, at least for me. And another reason why I want your graphics to be on smooth is, well, since the texture quality is not great, the quality of the grass and the map is not great, you can actually see enemies hiding in the grass in a much better way than you'd have it if you're using the HD or HDR. Colorblind mode, not for us, or maybe for some of you. Okay, auto adjust graphics. Normally I would have this disabled on a higher end device, but if you're using a lower end device, I'd recommend you keep it as enabled because you don't want your FPS to fluctuate a lot. Controls, very important. I don't want to go through this right now. I want to make a complete separate video for this, a complete different tutorial on what controls you should be using. Should you copy other people's controls or not? Vehicle, nothing. Okay, nothing really here. I think I've disabled my music. It's really annoying when I play. Sensitivity, again, I don't want you to be copying my sensitivity settings yet. I'll make a complete different video for this. Auto pickup, make sure it's open, make sure it's on. Okay, you don't have to copy my settings once again, but few important things I'd like you to make sure you always have. Okay, these are, I think, all just default settings here. I chose to have 4 frag grenades. It's very important to be carrying grenades with you in a match. It's very helpful. You can knock out targets, knock out squads, entire squads, and kill them even. Smoke grenades, when you're stuck in a difficult situation, you have your enemies, or your teammates knocked out. Normally, I think it's 3 or 2. I've put it at 4. Molotov cocktail, very useful. If there's an enemy hiding, you want to flush him out behind a tree, you can throw it, and, you know, yeah, you're going to see him running out. Here, very important setting. Quick scope switch. Make sure this is enabled. Now you might be thinking, what is this quick scope switch? If we go to controls, customize, and you see this little scope button here, what this does is, if you're having multiple scopes in your backpack, let's say you have a 3x scope, a 6x scope, and you're having your main weapon, let's say an AKM, the M4, and there's an enemy that's far away, you can easily switch between your scopes. You can switch to your 6x scope, or you can switch to your 3x scope, depending on the situation and scenario you're in. Alright, any other setting that we've missed? Audio, again, depends on you. Language, other downloads. That's it. So make sure you're using the basic graphic settings, the basic settings we've just gone through. Make sure you're using the basic settings we've just gone through. Again, you don't have to copy me, but most of the settings are recommended, like the aim assist, the peek and fire, gyroscope. Completely up to you what you want to do. Sorry about that, it's really difficult getting to record something. A lot of requests coming. I have to cut out a lot of the video. Anyways, again, gyroscope, universal mark. I think I've covered up. Okay, cut. Last part of the video. Now, something really important that I want to add, since we're done with the settings, you don't have to copy me. Once again, I've mentioned this a couple of times. You have to use the settings which you're most comfortable with. You should not copy paste what others are doing. You should not copy paste what other YouTubers, what other streamers, or, you know, whatever other video you see online. Do not copy paste. Watch them, learn from them, use what they're using. Don't copy them. Learn from it, and then apply it, adapt to it, use your own settings. It's a bit difficult, again, for me to be just saying it. I'll explain it when I'm doing videos for controls, where your controls need to be, and when I'm doing videos for sensitivity. What's the difference between free look, between camera, between ADS, okay, gyroscope, it's obvious. What's the difference between these 3 sensitivities? I'll be explaining all of these, and I'll be explaining what rates you need to be using. But all of this will be coming in a separate video, so I'll make about 5 to 6 tutorials on the channel, which I'm sure will help a lot of you get your kills up, get your gameplay better, improved, and yeah, that's it. Thank you guys. If this was useful, like, subscribe. More videos coming soon. MrWolf out.